I'm going to start reading some Christmas books. This is the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. Okay, there's the Nutcracker. Here we go. It's a Christmas book. It's got a lot of words, but it has pretty pictures too. It was Christmas Eve, and Fritz and Marie, the children of Dr. Stahlbaum, and his wife had been waiting for what seemed like ages outside the door of the sitting room where the presents were to be given. "I do wish Godfather Drosselmeyer didn't keep us waiting for him so long," sighed Marie. "We can't begin opening presents before he arrives." Godfather Drosselmeyer looked after the grandfather clocks in the Stahlbaum's house and repaired them when necessary. He was not really a clockmaker, but he was very clever with all the mechanical things, and he had already given the children so many delightful surprises. Here's the children. And today he brought them another wonderful surprise, a big, brightly colored box. When the children opened the lid, they saw a stretch of green turf where a sparkling castle stood. The castle had many windows as bright as mirrors and little gilded turrets. Figures of tiny ladies and gentlemen walked about or waved from the windows and then disappeared again. Fritz and Marie watched, fascinated, but soon they grew bored because once the clockwork people had been wound up, they kept making the same movements again and again. So the pair turned their attention back to the beautiful decorated Christmas tree where their other presents were waiting. There's the box. So they got tired of it. While Fritz was happily giving orders to a troop of toy soldiers, telling them to fight a battle, Marie saw a little wooden man in the tree, and she liked him at once. He was really a nutcracker, her father told her, but Fritz snatched him, and by cramming too many nuts into his mouth, he carelessly broke 2 of his teeth. "How can you be so horrid?" asked Marie. "Look what you've done to the poor Nutcracker." Their father took the Nutcracker away from Fritz and gave him to Marie. "Look after him," he told her, stroking her hair. "He'll be better off with you." It was late when the children's mother told them to go to bed. Fritz had already put his soldiers away in the glass-fronted cupboard where the children kept their best toys. Marie didn't want to say goodnight to her Nutcracker yet. "Let me stay with him a little longer," she asked, but her eyes were already closing, and her mother put her to bed and covered her with a warm blanket and let her sleep. See the Nutcracker? And some of his teeth broke. Oh, here she's sleeping. See the mice? See the train? Oh, there's lots to see. She looks cozy in her blankets. Marie was half asleep when she heard the clock strike 12, midnight. When the last chime had died away, a whistling and a scurrying noise could be heard. Then mice came pushing their way up between the floorboards. More and more mice, tripping and galloping to and fro. Marie lit a candle and went downstairs. What a sight she saw before her eyes. Oh, look at the mice. An owl was perching on the grandfather clock that had just struck 12, and the owl looked like Godfather Drosselmeyer. And all the other clocks in the house were ticking and whirring as if in a race against each other. See the owl? The troops of mice were drawn up in rank and file in front of the toy cupboard, just as Fritz made his soldiers stand when they went into battle. They were led by the 7-headed Mouse King, whose heads were all hissing and whistling horribly as they turned back and forth, and their eyes flashed in all directions. Marie saw brave Nutcracker draw his little sword, calling to the tin soldiers to follow him into battle and fight the army of mice. The noise of the battle was ear-splitting as the fight went first one way, then another. Marie watched anxiously, and when Nutcracker was surrounded on all sides, she threw her slipper desperately into the thick of the fray. At that moment, everything disappeared like a dream, and Marie fell to the floor in a faint. What happened? Wondered Marie as she came to her senses. Am I awake or dreaming? She rubbed her eyes. How strange and different the world around her looked now. Nutcracker had turned into a handsome young man, and he and she were walking through the Christmas woods. The landscape was deep in snow, and a bright star shone from the top of the lavishly decorated fir tree. Large sugared almonds lay in the snow, with a mysterious light shining out of them. See where she is? A gateway made of gingerbread, almonds, and raisins and covered with sugar opened in front of Marie and the Nutcracker, and they went through it. See them here? The Nutcracker and Marie. What is going to happen? Candy Town, the place they came to, was just what you would imagine a city made of sugar would look like. The streets were made of red and white striped sticks of rock candy, and the sun and moon and stars were all as sweet as sugar, white and stiff, as if a confectioner had piped them onto the sky with his piping bag. Look at that. See the candies? Marie and the Nutcracker got into a boat that was lying beside the banks of the river. It looked like a shell. Colorful flags and banners adorned the masts, and bright sails billowed in the wind. The boat was drawn by two dolphins who crossed the great expanse of Rosewater Lake and brought them to an island. See the island off in a distance? You see the dolphins? There's Marie. Does look like a shell. They came to a castle where 4 beautiful princesses welcomed them and told Marie that Nutcracker was a prince and their brother. But as they went for a ride in the royal coach, a silvery mist surrounded them. They could hear a strange singing and whirring in the distance, and Marie seemed to fall from a great height to land awake in her bed at home. Had it all been a dream? Had there really been a castle and princesses? She thought she remembered more strange details, but it was hard to know what was real. When she told her mother about how real her adventure with Nutcracker had been, her mother told her it was nothing but a silly dream. But Marie thought she knew better, and she suspected her clever godfather Drosselmeyer knew that he had given her anything but an ordinary Nutcracker. She held it close and thought that the most truly marvelous things may be seen if only people choose to look. Look at her in the carriage with the Nutcracker. So you only see these special things if you choose to look. The story of the Nutcracker was published 200 years ago. It is considered one of the best fantasies of German literature. The story begins on Christmas Eve when Marie gets the gift of a Nutcracker and her brother Fritz is given a little army of toy soldiers. Marie moves on into dreamland scenes with wonderful adventures such as the great battle between the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. The ballet based on the Nutcracker story with music by Tchaikovsky has been part of the standard repertory of ballet companies, large and small. It is regularly shown at Christmas time. The ballet is mainly based on someone's story, but he's mainly concerned with just giving the material for Tchaikovsky's Ballet Symphony. The end. And I think in one story, the girl marries the Nutcracker. I think so. Bye-bye.